Hello students, welcome back to my channel. The production possibility curve is a very important concept in economics because it will help you to understand the concept of scarcity and trade-offs. The societies are faced with this when they make economic decisions. The PPC curve will also show us how much limit do we have in regards to the production of goods and services in a given economy with its limited resources. Alright. Now this would also mean that the societies will have to make choices about how they would first allocate their resources and how much of the commodities can they produce with those given resources. Just imagine you have a country that can make two things, say for example cars and computers. So the PPC curve will show you the most of each thing that this country can make with its current stuff and technology. So without wasting any time further, let's break down the movements the PPC curve can take and make in simpler terms. Now when we talk about movements of PPC curve, we see that there are three types of movements. One is the rotation, one is the shift, and the last one is the movement along the curve. Now when we talk about rotation or rotating shift of the curve, we need to understand that there is only one commodity that the country is either becoming better off or worse at production of the commodity. It will happen when a country would decide to change what is making more of. Maybe they are making tons of cars and then they realize computers are the future, so they would want to switch. So in that scenario, the curve would rotate to show the change in the production decisions. When we talk about shifts of the curve, both of the commodities that the country is now capable of producing, it is now producing either more of both of them or fewer units of both of them. So in this case, the entire curve would either shift to the right or to the left. We have a movement along the curve as well. Now movement along the curve is also called as economic efficiency. So when you move along the curve, it would mean that you are now changing much of one thing that you make because you want more of the other. Now say for example, in the same country, there are 100 cars and 50 computers being produced, right? And the country now decides to make 50 more cars. So it will be able to produce those 50 more cars only by cutting back on computers. So maybe say for example, it is now producing 25 computers and it is adding more 50 cars to its production segment. Any country will not be able to make more of both because we should know that the PPC curve assumes that the resources are limited. So with limited resources, an increase in the production of both the commodities may not be possible. So that's what we mean by movements along the curve. Now this is full employment. What do we mean by full employment? It is a situation where all the factors of production are gainfully employed in a given economy. So if this country moves from inside the curve to any point on the curve, it would mean that now this country is utilizing all its resources to its maximum capacity. And it would indicate that the country has attained full employment. So the PPC curve would help us how well a country is doing, what it can make and what it might be holding back. It's a very handy tool for understanding any given economy. Now in this video, we shall be focusing only on the rotation of the shifts. Alright, the other two segments would be covered in a later video, otherwise it would become very long. So we can see that this is the rotational shifts of the curve. So there are two types of rotational shifts, one that occurs on the x-axis and one that occurs on the y-axis. Let's take a look at the one that occurs on the x-axis first. Just to give you an important gist, a PPC curve would rotate only if the opportunity cost of producing one commodity over the other changes. Now, when would this happen? This will happen generally when resources are more specialized in the production of one commodity and then they are reallocated to the production of another. A PPC curve can either rotate inwards or outwards based on whether the production is becoming worse off or better off. So an inward rotation means that the production of the commodity on the x-axis, which is cars, is decreasing. So an inward rotation of the PPC curve is a sign that the economy is facing some challenges. It could be caused due to various factors such as a reduction in the standard of living, an increase in unemployment, a reduction in the quantity of resources, deterioration of quality of resources, maybe there's war or conflict in the economy, maybe other countries have put sanctions on goods that we were importing, and because of which the country is not able to produce enough cars, right? So these could be the reasons why the production of cars in this economy would go down, and you would see a rotational shift of the curve to this point. So initially the curve was at AB, and because of the other factors that I just mentioned, the production of cars in this country has gone down, and the curve has now rotated from point B to point C. So now the PPC curve for this country would be AC. This is an inward rotation that occurred in this particular country. Now, when we talk about an outward rotation, it would mean that the production of this commodity on the x-axis, which is cars, has increased. It also would mean that the economy now can produce more even if the quantity of resources is the same, right? An outward rotation of the PPC is generally a sign of economic growth. It would mean that the economy is becoming more productive and is being able to produce more goods and services. Now, this could also mean that there would be an improvement in the standards of living for the people in the country. What could cause this? There are factors such as, say, changes in the efficiency of production. Probably there is increased availability of resources. Probably they are able to import something more in a cheaper segment, and they are able to produce more. Probably there is some improvement in the technology. Probably the productivity of the labor has increased. So that could lead to an outward shift of the, outward rotation of the PPC curve. So the country is becoming better off. In this case, the production of cars has increased from point B to point D, and hence the PPC curve now would be AD. So this is how the rotation of PPC curve would happen when it's becoming better off, which is D, and when it is becoming worse off, which is C. If you like my videos and if you find my videos useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, ensure that if you feel that the video will help your friends, don't forget to share it as well. After all, sharing is caring. So this is how the diagram would look like on the y-axis. Now in this case, AB is the initial situation at which the country is producing. So if this country becomes better off at producing computers, the curve would shift from AB to BD. That is, the production would increase from, say, OA to OD in case of computers. What are the reasons? I've just mentioned in the previous slide. When the country is becoming worse off at production of computers, the production of computers would go down, and instead of now producing from OA, the country may now be able to produce only OC quantity of computers. So in this case, there would be a inward rotation of the curve from AB to BC. So this is how it would be represented on the y-axis as far as the inward or outward rotation of the PPC curve is concerned. Alright student, that's it for today. Take care. Bye now.